Welcome back everyone. You're watching the training week from March 17th where the weekly focus was Pagan Coleman, upping my game in Coleman from top change, and I started doing Gaylord 2s from a regular giant tucked Gaylord 2. That is a couple of highlights. Did my first layout to double front on floor since probably October 2023. And there was one instance of Pagan Coleman this week where I did reach up with my second hand for the first time, and I think that was one of the turns that catapulted me into what you've most likely already seen. Fam, I did it. I caught it. I caught the thing that was impossible, in my mind at least, for myself, probably since my early 20s, something that was completely out of reach, not even on the to-do list. So I did take a week off before this one, and I was hurting a bit, so I actually did take it off doing bare minimum gymnastics. Didn't film anything. At the end of the week, I led a national team camp in Christchurch, and that was a Saturday, Sunday. So I actually ended up having a good play with a good friend David, who slid in some pads, and we just did a little bit of maintenance and refinement over a speed bar, which is 2022, built in the year 2022. This one that you see me on now is 2018, and I don't know if I was just juicy from the week off or if that bar was bouncier, but I really felt myself flying. I almost caught a Coleman from top change over there. Probably could have, to be honest, and you see it translated into some better Colemans, not that one, but those ones are getting closer. So I was able to do some of those over that Gym Nova bar that I don't usually like to do my releases on. So first, let's talk about this Gaylord 2 from Giant. Connecting the tuck Gaylord 2 directly from the stoop half, okay, you get the 0.1, and your routine becomes a fair amount shorter, so you're saving some energies for the Gaylord and whatever else is happening near the end of the routine. But with my stoop half, as you see, it's still extremely inconsistent, but you need the D in bar. So I've decided I'm going to start with the stoop half, but so that I can still use the Gaylord 2, I'm just going to start doing my reps from Giant and getting used to doing it from Giant without the Kovacs tap, without the spike action. Just from a regular Giant, because the Gaylord 2, you don't need too much power. It actually throws you off if you're doing a hard kick into it. So I'll get used to that, and if you get a good stoop half, sure, go for the connection, but otherwise just learning how to do it from a regular Giant. So you'll see that maintenance work over the Saturday, which by the way I did upload to the Patreon. That maintenance work led me to getting some nice kickouts in my Pike Gaylords this week. Now if you're wondering, the caught Pagan Coleman was the following week, so this is from last week. Pagan Coleman I just caught on Tuesday. Today is Friday, and honestly I'm still buzzing and on the come down from that. But this week, I think it may have been this turn. Well, that was a good one. Nice height there. Actually, it was on Friday this week where I actually reached up with my second hand properly. It was a bit far, but I reached up with that second hand, and that was the first time I've actually fully in the air committed to actually catching with both arms. So yeah, had a great trip down to Christchurch. Big shout out to all the gymnasts that attended the 360 camp down there. I had a wonderful time with all the coaches, all the athletes, and I really felt like I got to know the gymnasts down south a little bit better. We always see each other in the competitions, but you don't obviously get to know people very well during a high stress environment like a competition. But here I got to hang out with the boys a little bit. We had a really good vibe during the camp, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. So I posted that session on the Patreon. The first Pagan Coleman, the raw video, is out on the Patreon. Actually, I'm going to post a cell phone footage of it as well, because you can see as I'm walking off to turn my phone, you can see the tears in my face. I started crying. I was wailing. I went up and reached for Will, if you've seen, and I was literally wailing like imagine that noise that a seal makes when it does the alf, alf, alf. That was me times 100. It was a big emotional release. No pun intended, lol, emotional release. So I'll try to save that excitement for next week, but it'll probably die down a bit by then. But yeah, over the moon, stoked. We'll talk about it more next week. Also, make sure you stick around till the end today, because as promised, we're going to watch some gymnastics high bar masters. Catch and release is very close. Looking at their technique, keep informed. Today I think I've used a clip from Andreas Brettschneider, who the particular clip, I've never seen such a massive push away on a Coleman. You see athletes pushing away very well during the catch phase in a Kachev or Yamawaki, but you don't really see much pushing away from the bar on like Kovacs or Gaylord type elements. Although if you watch Alia's Pagan, he used to push away on Pagan like really well, but I think he's really the only one that was doing that. So we're going to look at Andreas Brettschneider, a high bar master. We're going to look at Kohei Uchimura, literally like with his face in the bar, yet keeping his knees and toes glued. So that's going to be a good fun look near the end of the video, so make sure you stick around. So I think I'm going to start doing that cross Nakayama cross in my strength, because I think it's going to help me with the Caesarean. Like I've mentioned before, when I go from the back lever into the cross, there is a very specific like few centimeters that I have to pass through, which are not ideal for my my shoulder, the operation shoulder. So I'm pretty weak in a very particular range, and when I go through that cross and push forward into the back lever, it does put me through that range. So I'm going to incorporate that, and hopefully that builds some strength through that weak part of the Caesarean. So you see here, you just like getting comfortable. I'm not going for the catch. I'm mostly thinking, okay, just try and see the bar, keep the legs nice and tight when you kick out, and just get in the feel, because it is different. You might think it's the same skill, but doing it from a back aprise or a stoop half or a top change is way different than doing it from, let's say, a spike, and that's way different than doing it from a regular giant, because a lot of different mechanisms are at play. It's all mental in a certain sense. Like when you're doing a arch tap from a giant, because you've done like 100,000 flyaways from a giant, your muscle memory can sometimes take you in that flyaway direction. But of course here you got to go over the bar, and that's the tricky part. The tricky part is to rewire that muscle memory. The tap is exactly the same, but the timing is different, so there can be some serious confusion which can give you some frights. So there you go. There was the reach I was talking about. You clearly see that left hand rising up as if reaching for the bar. And if you look at my head, watch my head, looking right at it. Definitely had a really good look there. So the the Colemans that I've been doing from top changes, they have really kind of helped me out a lot with looking in the right place. And like I've already explained, when I do the Coleman from a spike, I have the luxury of being nice and high, so I'm kind of looking down and got plenty of time to spot the bar. When I go from a pagan or from a top change, I have nowhere near the height, so I have to look in a different location. I have to kind of look forward and almost up as I pass, as I passing through that range where you're supposed to catch the bar. So it's done wonders. I'm glad I did it. And see, I didn't even need to catch it. It was just about getting the feeling of where to look. So stoked that I was able to identify that top change Coleman is going to help me. And I don't think I'm going to stop yet. I'm going to keep going and see if I can do it cleaner. Like I said, the emotional release though, it's going to take a little bit for me to rebuild myself to be able to train again. So it might be some time before I send any more, because like I'm still just like exhaustion. It's exhaustion. This takeoff was dodge. I was really surprised that I still managed to put the double front onto my feet. And I'm gonna have to start doing these whip 2.5s again. It's a nice easy 0.1 connection. We're not after any massive floor routines or anything, just see what I can put together. And the whip 2.5 is gonna be a nice tumble. I've got plenty of experience competing it, so I'm gonna try to bring it back. Single pommel, getting a little bit better, so that Russian flop is gonna have to be my D circle part. I'm just happy I got a D circle part, to be honest. And check out these swings. Dare I say we're rising to horizontal at the back, pretty much. And I'm holding myself so tight through the bottom, as if like shrugging up. So yeah, I can't relax at all through the bottom, otherwise I get extremely heavy impingement. So I'm learning just how to swing a little bit higher, and it is getting better. It's getting better. So Saturday I sent some more Pagan Colemans. I thought I'd get a bit more into the flow state and start with something different, start with some stoop halves. And although I didn't connect any Pagan Colemans today, I changed up the camera angle and I noticed, man, I am flying. I'm flying high. You know, if you watch that Pagan video I did like 4 or 5 years ago, where I was complaining that I just don't know how to get enough height, I rewatched it the other day, and then I'm seeing today's training. It'll be, I think, in the next video you'll see the different angle. So I saw this, and as I slowed it down, I was like, man, I am high. I'm getting so much more height than what I'm used to seeing, like from back in those days where I made that original Pagan video. And what did it? It wasn't any technique. You know, I've literally probably caught another 100 of them, and I've sent probably another 500 at least. So in the end, it was, you know, repetitions, just repetitions that was the answer. I've changed absolutely zero in terms of my technique. It's the virtue of continuing training, staying consistent. And it only took 5 more years to get an extra, I don't know, what is it, 0.5 meter in height or so? You know, it's funny, inevitably I feel like most of the videos is me just failing on pommel horse, but we're almost at the end now. Almost at the end, so we'll take a look at these high bar masters. We'll take a look at what I'm striving to become. And while we're finishing up, gotta say big shout out to all the Patreons. I'll probably upload the phone version so you can see me crying as well, because you can't see it as well from the iPad. Probably upload that to the Patreon today. And yep, if you're keen to support me, consider checking out the Patreon, and you know, becoming a patron from as little as $1 a month. But we're gonna start with Brett Schneider here. So check it out. He catching pretty much in a handstand, just pushing down on the bar. Push. Never seen a block like that. Kohei catching with his face in front of the bar, but fam, look at the knees toes. Check out the knees toes. Not even a smidge apart. Brett Schneider, similar. Catching with his face in front of the bar. He's a different breed. Like how? And this is just ridiculous. Like this is literally nose in the bar, fam. So that's the commitment. That's the conviction that a true champion has. Nose in the bar, but not even a centimeter apart on the form. Thanks for watching. All the best. Till next time.